Welcome to August. Right? Is it August? All right. Sunday, August 18th, the end of a half a week vacation. I came down here to hang out with Royce of now Heathen Guitar Works. He's known for Deviant guitars and Heathen pickups, and Heathen Guitar Works is everything coming into one place. Park, if you're watching this in the future, stop texting me when I'm filming videos, dickhead. All right, so what we have here in front of you is the very first prototype of
with cat hair.
With cat hair. Everything around here has cat. I have cat hair at this point.
I like cats. I like turtles.
Anyhow, just in case y'all didn't know, the short bus didn't pick him up for a couple of days, so he's not well adjusted. But anyhow,
this is what happens when two retards become friends.
We've had a really good time. I've had a good time. He's had to deal with me for like, what, 5 days? That's a long time.
Yeah.
Sure. Wow. Yeah. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5 days.
It's been fun.
Yeah. I've laughed a lot.
Yeah.
A lot.
It's been good.
So we did a couple activities, did some pretty cool stuff. So technically we have, I say we, like, I've done something impressive, but this was built basically in 3 days. Maybe 3.5-ish.
Yeah, just about that. I mean, we had, glue cure times and all that other stuff, but realistically,
some awesome distractions.
3 days. I mean,
yeah. It's a rock solid thing. It's been played quite a bit since it was put together today.
Yeah,
it's had some life.
Yeah, I'm very excited that you're as excited about it as I am.
Yeah, it's a very good playing guitar. So the best thing to do is to basically have you, because you have everything memorized. Me, I'm just it's just an idiot. But this guitar right here is phenomenal. The price point that it's looking like it's going to be sitting at, and I'm saying looking like because tomorrow the cost of wood could triple, we don't know. And this is not going to be technically launched out until later in the year, beginning of next year, correct?
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how things are going to go. It's hard to tell, but my plan is it will officially launch at NAMM in the Heathen Guitar Works booth. This is the very first Heathen model, and that's kind of where it's going to be showcased. I will be opening up pre-orders before that. As soon as I get the bodies sanded, the necks put together, all the fret work, everything like that, the bodies will be fully sealed and essentially ready for the paint booth. And I'm going to open up pre-orders to folks.
But she's a rock solid guitar. Basically, Deviant was, might as well call it what it is, custom shop.
Yeah.
Like, you picked everything. This, you do not pick everything. You do have some choices. Prices will vary a little bit, or is it all one price no matter what? Well, the Evertune's definitely more than the hip shot,
So, where do you want to start? Do we want to go back to why I'm doing this? Or do we want to just talk about this?
Y'all don't want to hear about this, do you? I don't want to hear the story. I mean, like, that's a cyclical guitar.
Yeah.
We know it's a cyclical guitar.
Okay, so I'll keep it as brief as I can. What happened was I started Deviant. I started building guitars essentially for myself, and I always kind of had this vision that I would just let my creativity flow and I would build what I wanted to build, and hopefully people would buy it. And then what I wasn't prepared for was people started reaching out to me as I was building my own stuff, just kind of trying to find my footing. And I said, hey, can you build me this? And I was so excited that other people were excited about what I was doing that I said, absolutely, I can do that. And for the last 3 years, I've only built a small handful of guitars that I kind of put together and sold them that way. For the most part, it was people ordering stuff long before I ever got to it. And as a business owner, and somebody doing this part-time, you know, the deadlines, you got people's deposits, they're asking you when stuff's going to be done, you're stressing out about it, and it's a lot to take on. It's kind of exhausting, and I hit burnout for sure, you know, like peak burnout from doing all of that. And last year for NAMM, trying to bring as many guitars as I could for the booth, I built stuff like this one right here, that didn't have anybody's name attached to them, and I had so much fun doing it that I started thinking, you know, I need to just hit the reset button again, and I'm not gonna do that. Just go back to doing, you know, following the original vision. And that the reason why I decided to change the name was, one, I also started Heathen Pickups, as most of you guys watching this probably already know, but I was originally supposed to be Heathen Guitars, and I just merged the two companies together instead of Deviant. At the time, Heathen Guitars wasn't available. That name is available, but ironically, Heathen Guitar works anyway, so it doesn't matter. But that's the whole premise behind it. But the real reason is Deviant kind of became known for being a custom shop guitar. And I didn't want to just sort of tell people, no, I'm not doing custom anymore. So Deviant remains open, but I am limiting custom work by a lot. I'm only going to take on a couple a year for now, at least. And I really just want to focus on this and kind of keep my mind happy. But the main goal behind this one was to build what I call the player's guitar. You know,
workhorse.
Yeah, it is a workhorse, right? It's got all the premium stuff on it that an experienced guitar player is after. Anybody who's bought cheap guitars and then, you know, went down the upgrade path, putting tuners on, different pickups, different bridges, all that stuff to make it what they really want, kind of already knows a lot of that stuff. And I figure, why do all that when you can just have something right out of the gate? And the goal was to be able to let my creativity flow, still create the guitar that I want, that I think most people want, but really focus on being able to keep the cost down without sacrificing quality. And being able to build in batches in a production methodology really allows me to take advantage of CNC usage. And it's, you know, more like assembly line work. Everything's ready to go. You know exactly where it's at. You're not having to change your process in the middle of something because calculations were wrong or whatever. You know, you build a prototype and you go from there, and everything is validated, and then you essentially throw a block of wood on a CNC, hit cut, and then it's, you know, sanding, and you remove a lot of a human error in there. And I really think that there's a huge advantage to that. This is still, in my opinion, a handmade guitar, even though the CNC is going in and doing all the heavy lifting. You know, all the final finishing touches and everything like that are done by me and me alone. This guy did some sanding on here and some other stuff, but
I'm proficient at wonky.
Yeah. So this is the prototype. If you guys noticed, the one that I just had back there, that is the Reaper by Deviant Guitars. So this body was definitely based on that one, but I got a lot of feedback on the Reaper, and, you know, I spent a lot of time looking at it. It's still my favorite model to date. I'm just a Strat guy, but there was a couple things that I wanted to change about it, and I took the feedback that I got from people. And the body shape itself, yes, it's still very heavily based on the Reaper, but there's some changes to the geometry of the lower horn down here, and the overall size of the guitar is slightly larger. It's about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. It's a little bit bigger, and as doing that, you can't just explode a shape 1/4 of an inch bigger. You got to kind of go in and rework the lines, but I wanted to keep that sort of fast looking, sleek but yet aggressive kind of vibe to it, and I'm really, really happy with this one. I think it's what the Reaper probably should have been from the beginning, but that was new.
And it's a fantastic guitar. And like you said, you got all the premium stuff in it. Everything is top notch. I mean, even something as simple as a tone pod or a volume pod is literally a Dunlop Super Pod. It's kind of the best you can do.
Yeah, and anybody who's ever put Dunlop Super Pods in a guitar knows that one, they will never fail, and they are just, they're buttery smooth. They're premium pot, and that's all that I'm using on this stuff. Unless you want to push pull, then it will be the CTS style push pulls, because those are also incredible.
Yeah. One of my favorite things to say, because I have a lot of pride, because I am not an easy person to please, and he's had to deal with me now for way longer than he probably wants to admit to. But a little company called Pure Tone makes these input jacks, and big shout out to Jason Frankhauser, who told me I needed to switch my jacks to those, because once I did, you don't know what you have until you have one of these input jacks. It's a little bit better, and then there's absolutely superior. And these are absolutely superior. They really are. You plug into them, you know you've plugged into them, and your signal is perfect.
Yeah, they're just higher quality, and you're the one that showed them to me, and I'm glad you did, because they're worth every penny. But yeah, so this model, based on the Reaper, it gets a new name because it is different, and I want to stick with the heathen theme. I'm a big Viking Norse culture fan, so the symbol that's up on the headstock on this one is also the main heathen symbol that Sean's got there on his shirt. That is a rune for Odin's spear, also called Gungnir. So this is Gungnir. It is the flagship model, the first of its kind. Spear is said to always hit its target and never break, so that's my goal. Deadly accurate and will never break.
When I test that theory, I'm going to try to run over my truck tomorrow.
I got nothing.
Neither do I. I probably shouldn't have said that.
It's still.
I'm really not going to run over my truck, folks. But it's really cool, and something I never had until I got a guitar from you the first time is the recessed Dunlop strap locks.
Yeah.
If you don't want those, you can get the regular ones.
Maybe
you
you
don't
don't
have
see
that
it
one.
right here.
It's a flush mount.
Yeah. So there's no annoying button that sticks up. I found a picture of them on Instagram when I was building my first guitar, and I'm not going to tell you how many hours I spent on the internet trying to figure out who made those things. But I found them, and for me, there's no going back. They are just the greatest thing ever. This model will come with standard strap buttons unless you want to upgrade, because they are about $25 for the set to get the strap locks and the buttons. So I'll have two options. I've been able to find the recessed buttons by themselves that are a lot cheaper. So that'll be like a $10 upgrade, and then if you want the locks to go with it, if you don't already use Dunlop strap lock system, you can add those for about $25, and then I can buy the whole set that way. But yeah, major differences between this one and Deviant, of course, is the body shape. This one is painted. You know, I've spent a lot of time with the premium woods, the flamed maple, quilted maple, burls, all that. I still absolutely love that stuff. But I just wanted to make a nice looking painted guitar, you know, an American made sort of build. So this is a two-piece alder body that's been sealed, painted, and we made my paint booth look like a murder scene, which was actually a lot of fun. But major difference, this is a bolt-on neck. So up until this point, I've pretty much done everything other than this orange one back here as a set neck. I used to think that was superior, but the reality is I can produce a guitar significantly faster as a bolt-on. It makes everything so much easier, and we've proven today that from playability, sustain, punchiness, I think both of us prefer a bolt-on for metal stuff. And
none for nothing, I am going to do a video that's going to be timed and show you the sustain on this is more than you would ever need.
And you guys can see where my hand is right now on a bolt-on neck. I'm hitting the pickup down here. So you're worried about access? Don't. I've got pretty normal sized hands, I think. They're not small, but they're not gigantic. You know, I'm only 5'11", so I'm not even 6 foot tall. And you still have plenty of access. The neck back here has a nice contour. This is a prototype, so we did have a little oopsie here. But this is beveled down, you know, it's super comfortable. real great access. Those of you shreddies, you're not going to have any issues getting into this neck, whether it's a bolt-on or a set neck.
And what I'm going to say is a little confusing. Don't get confused. The beveling on it, if you've ever played a high-end Ibanez that is a modern bolt-on, how it kind of curves itself down around, it's not exactly like that, but it's kind of along the same idea when you have that comfort in your hand. The only difference is if you're not the type that wants one of those necks that you can bend out of tune, this is more your style, because that neck has got a little more meat on it, a little more rugged, but it's not a thick neck by any chance. Like someone who likes to play crazy fast leads and stuff is going to be super happy on this. Yeah. And anybody who likes to play rhythm and still like enough in your hand that you feel like you're hitting something, you're going to be extremely happy with it. Because that's my territory. I'm not a lead player. I'm absolute trash at that. But it's comfortable, extremely comfortable.
Yeah. It's very similar neck profile too to what the Deviant was. I've always been a fan of, the Ibanez Wizard necks and the Jackson, especially the 90s era's Jackson stuff that was 19 millimeters, right? It's nice and thin. It's a super fast neck. The Deviant stuff had a little bit flatter profile. I spent quite a bit making this a lot more C shape and less D or U, as some people would call it. And that's because as a player myself, I started getting a lot of fatigue when I was playing up here. I tried to roll, my thumb would be kind of anchored down below and I was having to do weird stuff with my hand. So this is nice, and it flows, it rolls really well. I think it's a lot more comfortable.
And it sits good too. If you're, as you can see, he has it on his hip. It sits nice. It's very well imbalanced. He's put it in classical position. It's very nice. It's very balanced. If you have it on with a strap on, it's extremely balanced. That's how I've used it.
Yeah.
And it's almost like it's deceptively heavy, but weighted. It's 6 pounds.
Yeah, it's 6 pounds and 1 ounce. It seems heavy, but this is one hand. I hear 2 fingers, right? It's not so much.
He's bragging that with one hand he's holding up 6 pounds.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not editing that out either because that's just too fucking funny.
It's not even one hand though, right? It's 2 fingers. Like that shows you it's not so heavy. It's not sliding out of my hand.
Yeah, it's super comfortable. It's really a smart design.
Yeah.
And in a very cluttered market of basically buying a name on a headstock, this actually has character, which is it's funny because everybody knows I play Royce's guitars, but I sat on a couch without it plugged into anything, and I was noodling around with finger picking and stuff. The old people like me will remember the song "When the Children Cry" by White Lion. I was playing that, and it played flawlessly, super easy, and it was loud enough without an amp to actually hear what I was doing. So it projects sound really good. It resonates really well. The sustain is incredible, even when it's not plugged into an amp. So
it's pretty acoustic for an electric.
It's very loud. Like if you strum cowboy chords, like people have to raise their voice to talk to you. It's pretty loud. I might do it when I go home when I'm in my isolated little area. I might do it to the vocal mic, show people how, because you should be able to tell between my voice and playing that which one's actually louder. And I have a pretty loud, boisterous voice that goes with being fat, I guess. But it's great. It's got my favorite fretboard of all time, and I didn't know it was my favorite until I got one on a guitar that I didn't spec out. I got one on the Reaper run that you did a year and a half ago. It was a while ago.
Fuck, when was it? It was over a year ago.
Oh yeah, definitely over a year ago.
It was almost 2 years ago, I think.
Jeez, I don't know. Damn. Wow. How long have you been playing the guitars? I thought I've been playing guitars for like 2 years.
3 years, man.
Oh wow.
I've been in this house 3 years, and
I'm not a smart man, and I don't have to tell time. Well, that shows you how much fun I'm having. I didn't realize it'd been that long since I've been playing his guitars. And yes, I do play other guitars, so I'm going to tell you right now, I play what I want to play. He doesn't tell me I have to play anything. I play what the fuck I want, when I want. If I want to go up there and play country music and dance around the side of the road in a pink tutu, I'm going to do it. I'm my own man. But this is a great guitar. I'm not saying that just because I'm friends with him. I'm not saying it just because I'm known for using his stuff. And none for nothing, this when you hear someone say workhorse guitar, you try to think, what's a workhorse guitar? It's a guitar that stays in tune, sounds good, and is built to actually be played. It's not built to be hung on a wall. It's meant to be played. I'm going to have this thing out in parking lots.
Yeah.
And you're going to see it. Especially now it's getting a little cooler. I can actually get out there and actually play without, dying of heat stroke because I'm a fat piece of shit. But you're going to see it. I'm going to have it out on the road. We could get to a point where Royce will be comfortable with me stopping and visiting people and they can check it out. Right now we're just going to kind of keep it in-house because at any point something could have to be changed and we don't want to show a guitar and put it in someone's hands that something's going to get changed, and what if they like the thing that you're changing? It becomes a whole counterproductive thing, and you don't want to do that to people. You don't want to have an expectation of getting this and you change something, and if he's changing something on it, it's because it's just going to make it better.
So I mean, while you're on that topic, right, the thing with this guitar, I mean, the reason why the Reaper changed, why this exists is I took the feedback that I got from everybody that bought one of my guitars, the players, and saying, hey, I love it, but it's always that but in there. There's always one little thing here and there, and some stuff I'm not going to change. Some stuff I liked about my guitars. Other things, it was like, yeah, you might be right on that. So this isn't just my brainchild, right? I take a lot of pride in this. I didn't just build something based on what only I wanted, because every guitar player is different. I took something that everybody said, hey, you should do this, right? You should use Dunlop Super Pots. You should use Pure Tone Jacks. You should use Richlight because it's way superior. I was against Richlight until somebody ordered a guitar with it and said, I want Richlight or I'm not buying a guitar from you. I was like, it's your guitar. I'll build with whatever. And then I used the stuff I played on it, and I went, this is incredible. This is amazing stuff. And
I think people don't realize it. Yes, it is a composite, but you're not gonna miss wood. Everybody knows I have a crap ton of guitars. I play a crap ton of guitars. I demo a crap ton of guitars. You will. I'm an ebony. I was an ebony guy. That's what I wanted on everything. Ebony. Give me ebony. And this here, it's flawless. But the best part, if you're like most of us guitar players, you don't mind changing your strings, but you gotta get out the fret polish and the fret cleaner and all that. It's a huge pain in the ass. This stuff here, you literally can put pledge on a rag and just go, and it's clean. Yeah. It's not gonna crack because it's not subject to weather problems and humidity. It's not gonna twist. It's not gonna do all kinds of stuff.
You're never gonna get. I live here in Colorado. It's a very dry climate. Every guitar I've ever bought in my life, I had to dress the fret ends because fretboards shrink in such a dry climate. And to me, that is the greatest thing about it, is they will never shrink.
Stainless steel frets,
yep.
Dual carbon rods. Go. He doesn't just have one carbon rod right inside with the spoke wheel truss. He's got one on each side. Yep. This neck is solid.
Yeah. And so one of the other big changes as well was, and when we tested it out today, it was an improvement, although high gain, you're still going to get some of that spankiness, that high pitch harmonics, but I increased the headstock break angle from 10 degrees to 12 to give you a little bit more tension down here on the strings.
And to be fair too, not to cut you off, but just while we're talking about that, I call it the chank. When you chug that chunk, chunk, clunk, that only happened when we went to drop C.
Yeah.
In standard tuning, it didn't do it. So I use 10 to 52s, so where I'm going to be testing it, that's what we put on it. If you're running a heavier gauge string, you're probably not going to get that, but I'm also, I'm a whiner. And if there's any extra noise that I'm not physically making, I'm really quick to complain about it. Very, very quick to complain about it because I am a baby. Yeah. I might be 50, but I can turn into 5 months really fast. I like what I like. But for the longest time, when we were testing it out and it was put together, it wasn't making any noise. We were in half step down. Right? Yeah. We was half step down, wasn't making any noise at all.
Drop C sharp, half step down. Yep. When we went to drop C, it
got a little chanky.
We heard a little bit when we were pushing the 5150 with a segment overdrive pretty hard.
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was. But and then the other one that I think is probably my favorite feature, you can kind of see the little notch down here. that is where your wonderful pure tone jack is. And I like that because it comes...
Purple hair, I wonder who that belongs to.
It comes out right, and you put it right over the strap if you want. We tested your wireless system, so it's not huge. Certain wireless systems may or may not work with it.
We'll know more about that after I go home. I have a paddle system at home, and when I get home, I will put the paddle in it and see if it fits.
But here's my Boss one for the Waza Airs. It fits flawless, and that's what I really love about it. It's out of the way. It's not in the front of the guitar. It's not down on the bottom where, you know, when you're sitting classical style, it's not in your way. This one kind of is, but I'll live with it. It's also dead. So, and standard options on it. Again, we may still change a couple things, but this is a limited run. Everything that I do is going to be limited. However, this will be a standardized model. So we do it now. It'll, you know, we might move on to something else next time, but we're going to come back to this one. This is the flagship, the Gungnir, and with the run that I'm doing right now, we're doing 12 6 strings and 8 7 strings, all of them 25.5 inch. And I'm a big baritone guy. I know you like the 26 1/4, but I think the crowd favorite is a 25.5, so that's what I went with. We will be doing a 26 1/4 and a 27 inch at some point
in the future.
Yeah, but right now it's all about putting money back in the bank account and buying selling what people are buying, I guess. But
well, at the end of the day, you can make a guitar for yourself,
yeah,
right? But if you want to have a business, you also have to make guitars for like the person who doesn't care about the flash or the craziness.
Well, and
that's what's awesome with this guitar.
Yeah,
there's no flash. There's no less to splatter.
It's pretty flashy.
Any craziness. Mm-hmm. You know, you got hip shot open lock tuners. They're, in my opinion, hip shot or Spurzle or something. As long as it's a locking tuner and doesn't come from Biafra, wherever they're making this stuff out of the make believe metal shit that snaps when you make it too tight. That should be standard on everything, and if it's not, you shouldn't be buying it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that just because he has it on his. I'm saying it because if you bought a guitar without it on there, you shouldn't have bought it.
I put locking tuners on every single guitar.
He even puts them on with Floyd Roses. How crazy is that?
Because that's how much I love locking tuners, and I think it's stupid that anybody even makes a tuner that doesn't fucking lock today.
That's not the real reason. I've heard the real reason 3 times this week. He doesn't like to friggin' wind strings around the post.
There's that too, but also, I mean, like,
throw you right under the bus.
If you're gonna spend money on a guitar, why the fuck doesn't it have locking tuners? I mean, and my love for hip shot is exactly that. I can buy non-locking tuners for the exact same price that I buy locking tuners. Why would I not get the locking tuner?
Yeah.
It's just stupid. And hip shots never let me down. They are a main staple. With that, you also get Graph Tech Tusk Nut, Heathen pickups. Half of them will have the Hipshot Ibby Bridge. The other half I'm doing with Evertune, my personal favorite, but I know Evertune's got some fear. I don't know what the right word is, but
I think it's fear and people listening to the internet too much, and I'm guilty of that myself. I had a bad experience with Evertune many years ago. To give you an idea how many years ago it was, the guitar I had it on was a solar guitar that was made by Washburn Guitars, and I got it when it was released. So you're talking years, if not a decade, maybe.
Maybe.
So they've come a long way. You might as well just call it what it is. I stole a guitar from him that has an Evertune on it. Can't really say that I didn't steal it. We know the arrangement. I stole it.
It was about to be firewood. I was going to strip the parts off of it and just burn it.
Sometimes you have to save it. Sometimes thieves do God's work. I'm just putting that out there. But I do love that guitar. You guys have seen it. It's the V that I use from time to time. And I love that thing. But again, we'll go right back to the workhorse. You've got hip shot gear on it. You got high-end pots. You got electronics that are all done by him. You got your pots, you got hand wired, and the wire he's using isn't like some TU wire that you can ball up and like throw at your your pet and they can play with it for 3 days. It's good, sturdy wire.
Bought in the U.S. by, shout out to Remington Industries if you're watching this. They also supply all of my copper for the pickups. So I buy my lead wires from them too, because they're a great company.
And all that stuff is wound, like right here in house, like literally right over there. Yeah. And say what you want. I mean, you can go buy yourself a Seymour Duncan, and it's going to get the job done. It's not going to not get the job done, but you're going to start to sound like everybody else. I think that's why companies like Bare Knuckle has a life.
Yeah,
it's because you're not going to sound like Seymour Duncan or DiMarzio or any of the other like massive companies that are dealing with the box stores and stuff. You're gonna have something that has a character, and probably that's how Seymour and all them started out. I'd imagine like they did it, so that, like what was the first one he did, the JB?
I mean, most people. For me, the reason why I started doing it was nobody really made what I wanted. I mean, there's a lot of fantastic pickups out there, and if you love what you love, then great. But for me, I've tried so many different pickups, and even though I liked a lot of them, I never found that thing that was what I wanted specifically. I went tone chasing, and I just said, fuck it, and started building my own.
Well, I didn't know what I liked until a previous situation that I was in built me something with an Alnico 9. I didn't even know it was a thing.
Yeah.
And then I played it, and I was like, ooh. And then that situation went away, and I was tinkering with a bunch of different stuff, and I always went back to that, praying to God those pickups didn't fail. And because I'm very annoying son of a bitch, the only way to shut me up sometimes is to give me what I want and hope for the best. He got some Alnico 9s, went to work on it, and I'm sitting in a very good place with my pickups now. I'm extremely happy. They're getting dumped in everything. I mean, if you watch my content, like every time I was like, I got her. Yeah. And it's because.
But you also don't be playing them.
Well, it's because it does everything.
It's not even the pickup that I was chasing for myself, and now it happens to be my favorite. It's a brilliant thing.
Yeah, it's a good. When you talk workhorse, that's a workhorse pickup. Because if you want to play blues, you can play blues. You want to play country, you can play country. You want to play metal, you can play metal. You want to play something disgusting, you got the game to push to be disgusting, you can play it. And it's going to be clear. It's going to give you what you're asking of it. Again, workhorse.
Yep.
And I think that's kind of basically, I don't know why it's sticking in my head, but that word workhorse is kind of what this is. You went from making boutique, crazy stuff that we all dream of.
You say workhorse, I say the player's guitar, right?
Yeah.
Same thing, but that's exactly what I did, and I spent, I don't know, it was a lot of thought. It probably realistically took me years to dream this up, and it's all based on feedback that I got from people, even just trying to sell stuff as a small business, especially to the metal crowd, is a lot of guys don't want to spend $3,000 on a guitar. There's that magic number. I'm still probably higher than what most people want to pay, but I think this is a very valuable instrument, and I sat down and came up with a guitar and a method of building it that allows me to crank out a guitar in 3 days. And a model like this one is going to be under $1,800. I don't remember the exact number that I calculated, but
it's a goofy number.
It is, but it was all part of that business calculation, and that's the price that it lands on. That's so that I get paid, because I do, even though I'm grateful for my day job. This is my passion. This is what I want to do for a living, and I would love to break that and do this full time. One of those changes, there's simple things that most people don't notice, right? We got block inlays over here on the side, but they also overlap onto the edge. And the amount of time that it takes you to line up, center punch, and drill absolutely perfect holes in the side of a fretboard for your side markers, it's a very time-consuming process. I found a way to let them CNC do it for me. And that's one of those areas where I can really save time. And not only that, save money, I'm not buying side dots anymore. I'm using the same stuff that I use for inlays, which this one is not, because we had a little time crunch and an oopsie on the CNC as we were figuring stuff out, prototyping. But the final version will be a a glow in the dark too, so you also get benefits of like lumen light. You know, anybody that's playing on stage, everybody asks me for them, so that's another one of those standards. I make it in house.
Something I didn't know. There's no telling me no sometimes because I'm an a-hole. But we ran out of the glow in the dark. First thing I did is, well, this sucks. I was reading stuff on them, and if you get Lumilay, it says with a 3-hour charge to UV, you're gonna get 30 minutes. That's how Lumilay works. The stuff that he's using, it says with a 15-minute UV charge, you get up to 4 hours. Most of y'all that are watching this are not on a stage for 4 hours. I don't think anybody's on a stage for 4 hours at this point in time. Because all the good bands, they're old now. They don't have the gas to stay up there for 4 hours. But you're going to get more time than what you would need on stage.
Well, I mean, black lights light that stuff up like crazy too. It doesn't even really have to be UV. Yeah, UV really makes it glow, but they're white enough that even a black light, stage lighting, they just glow.
It's, I don't know, pound for pound for the price. I mean, you can get something that's built here in America, one-man shop, you know the guy's name. For the same price, you can buy an LTD made in Indonesia by probably somebody who you could never in a million years pronounce their name, that's getting paid $3 to build it. And you wonder why, like, you know, you end up having problems with the guitar, huh? You get what you pay for. The difference is you have probably get LTD where they tell you if you've had it for 30 days, you own it. There's nothing we will do to help you. You're done. Same thing with Schecter. And I'm proof of this. I should go over that again sometime. I had a guitar for 32 days. I didn't want my money back. I wanted the part just to fix it. I was going to fix it myself. And basically they told me to take as much sand as I could and shove it as far up my ass as I could. You have a problem with one of his guitars? I'll vouch for it myself. If it's failed because of operation, no, if you're going to take and crack it over your amp, you're dumb. You're eating that dick. But if it falls apart just because you're playing with it, I probably should have used a different analogy if I was going to go that direction. But if you're going to play with it and it's going to break, and it's because like the gear on it is faulty, or for some reason the wood fails, which I can't imagine why it would, but you know, common sense stuff. He's going to stand behind you. He's going to take care of you. And you're going to be able to contact and go, oh, here the guitar works. No, you go, hey, Royce, I got a problem with my guitar. You know, and he's going to help you. Yeah. That's what's awesome.
I mean, recently I had one of those issues with one of the Deviant builds. Right? It was a custom Grimoire that I did. We put the Fishmans in it, and there was a problem with it. And I offered to pay for a shop because I had to ship the guitar. It wasn't a local buyer. I offered to pay to have another shop just figure out what was going on with it. I figured I screwed something up. Well, they ended up, I don't even know what the hell they did, but they they destroyed that guitar.
They made chowder in that thing.
Yeah. There was a big, ugly, nasty, like burn or grind spot on it. I had to strip the clear coat and completely redo it. And I didn't charge the guy because to me, I sent him a guitar that failed, and that's on me. So I will offer lifetime warranty on workmanship and materials. You know, I have chosen companies like Hipshot and Evertune and Dunlop because they also stand behind their product. And if one of my guitars fails with that stuff, I know I can reach out to them. I can work with them, and we can make it right for you. But you know, everything's also built by me. So the failure rate, that was the only guitar I've ever had fail after it left my possession, and it was a problem with the jack, which is also why we ended up switching to Pure Tone. They're amazing jacks, but yeah, it was just, it wasn't disconnecting when you unplug the guitar, and it was draining the battery, and the guys at Guitar Center couldn't figure it out, and they made a big booger on the top of it that
mine disconnected. Like literally, I pulled it out and it stayed on my thing. Yeah. I was like, what the hell is this?
So this is all the premium stuff in the lowest possible price that I can offer them and still keep my sanity. I do believe I deserve to get paid. So that is
no man should ever work for free.
That is the goal. Is that I want this to be, you know, a full-time gig for me. But I tried to build something that people would want, and I'm very, very proud of it. And I'm kind of sad to see it go.
It'll come back home.
I'm excited to see it tested. You know, that's So yeah, we're keeping stuff on the down low. Other than this video, right? There's an announcement. Hey, I'm doing cool shit, but they're not going to be available for quite some time. This is sort of a teaser and an introduction to Sean's going to take it out on the road and play it the way that he does, because he has more time to play guitar than I do.
Because I do nothing.
Well, you do a lot, but I know you put all that other. You're like, I'm playing guitar, so you can fuck off. I don't have that ability. But I mean, you're also all over the country too, and that's a huge advantage, right? I'm only playing here in my bedroom. Is that really an accurate test? Versus
I'm essentially a touring musician, if you really want to call it what it is.
And I think that's a really good test. We're going to throw it in a gig bag, take it out on the road and just play it, see how it handles different environments, make sure nothing moves, because I'm brand new to bolt-on necks, especially one piece. That's the other thing. Deviant, I always did at bare minimum a 3-piece, and to save time and really increase production and output, I switched to a 1-piece maple neck, which plenty of guitar companies have been using for a long time. So I'm confident in that it's going to hold up.
And again, if you're worried about the strength and the stability, there's not one, but 2 full-on carbon rods in there. That's, I'd probably argue to say, stronger than a 3-piece neck, just having the carbon in it.
Yeah.
It's a little hard to mess with those things, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, well, no, I mean, if there's something that goes wrong with it, obviously I'm going to have to get a hold of Royce and go, everything worked good until today.
So he's testing the prototype 6-string. We started on the 7-string. We didn't get it done. I got to switch gears and take care of other stuff, but that one will be done here in the very near future, and I'm probably going to hang on to that one, because I don't have a 7-string on the wall on the one that's sold.
Oh, just so everybody knows, because I'm going to brag for a second, because I could do that, because my belly is sticking out as far as my elbows. If you're worried about your Deviant builds, because he still has a few of those left, while he was working on this, I personally was sanding necks, sanding bodies. I tried to do fretwork, but figured out real quick that it is not my thing to chop fret wire. It becomes very expensive if I do that. We're not going to talk about how bad I was at it, but I was legendary bad. It's not for me. I have very weak hands because I have the hands of the strength of a fucking 2-year-old.
He's really good at sanding stuff though.
I am.
And radiusing fretboards, I was impressed. I thought for sure the first one he did was he was going to fuck it up, and he didn't. He did just as good as I do. Maybe even better. I don't know.
I don't think I did better.
Either way, I really appreciate it.
It took me an hour. It took you 15 minutes.
Yeah,
but your guitars were being worked on,
yeah.
And you only have out of the whole lot, just 2 necks left to sand, and the necks are all done.
Yeah, but the other one doesn't even matter because that was an extra build. So everybody with a customer's name on it, I'm not where I wanted to be, and it was tough to make the decision to focus on this one and knock it out. But it's really easy to do one. It's really hard to do 7 at a time, and especially all 7 of those are different. Specs are pretty similar, but they're all different, and that's part of the reason why I'm doing this is I can build a guitar in 3 days versus 3 months.
But the guitars were being worked on.
Yeah.
Maybe by an indolent, but they were being worked on.
Yeah.
So
and it's to everybody that ordered one. If you watch this, I know I just want to say thank you for your patience. Thank you for the business, all of that stuff. I haven't forgotten about you. I just want you to know that I'm not where I wanted to be even 3 months ago. I took this week off of work to work on that stuff. I still feel good about the progress, even though I didn't get as far as I wanted. We made really good progress, and we're nearing the finish line on those, so it won't be much longer before it's all said and done. But unfortunately, I got to go back to work tomorrow.
Just remember, when you ask for custom stuff too, not all that stuff can be done in a day. If you want a custom stain or a custom paint job or anything like that, there's this one thing that I learned by being out here is I've never seen a guitar built from an ugly block of wood to this. I got to see every step. There's a couple steps I missed because I had to go to the bathroom, but for the most part, I've seen I've seen the whole thing, and it was very eye-opening to see how many defeating things jump out and nip at you when you least expect it as you're going through the paces. It's not as easy as putting together a Lego. It's time-consuming, and he's mentioned the CNC a bunch of times. The CNC is not a solution for no work. The CNC leaves it rough. It's rough as shit. You like the bodies. You're on those things for damn near an hour just to basically clean up after the CNC. Yeah. So you're still putting your hands on it. You're putting a ton of time in them. You're still finishing the mold of it, the shape and everything. Yeah. So it takes time. And doing a complete fret job after the fret board's been put on, you're talking just to install the frets a little over an hour and a half. To chop them, put them, and squeeze them in?
Well, we actually calculated it. I was kind of keeping track of time while I was doing this whole thing to figure out what true potential is. We figure from the time you glue the fretboard on, so what it takes to radius the fretboard, install the frets, and then level, crown, dress, all that stuff. It's about 4 hours, which is, relatively fast. And the CNC does help with that, and this one is a compound radius as well, so 12 inch up here, 16 down at the 24th fret.
It takes time, a lot more than I thought. As a guitar player, is like, what the fuck takes these people so long? I now know what takes them so long. And there's sometimes things don't go as fast as you want them to. Like you're like, oh well, for instance, the curing of the stuff, it's called 5-minute set. Stuff in your bucket sets in 5 minutes, but wherever you put it on, you gotta leave that alone for a while. So it is a lot of
and that's where on a production standpoint, you really got to think about overlap and how you can do things. And that's the advantage to CNC. But the reality is it only makes sense when you're making 20 or 50 or 100 of one thing. Yeah. And I've been using it to make 1 of 1. And 2 of 2, and 3 of 3, and you're trading your time from the front end on the back end, and I would almost argue to say that, especially like a guitar body, it's faster to not use a CNC. You can do it by hand faster, but there's a level of accuracy and precision that is what I've always chased.
And the work you do on the computer takes time. That's another thing too that no one thinks of.
You're trading, sit down in an office in front of a computer screen versus out there with a pencil and a ruler and a bandsaw. It's tool just like anything else, and there is no, it doesn't make you faster. It does if you write the program and you produce multiple, but when you consider designing and all that stuff, it's actually slower by a lot.
Yeah. But it was really eye-opening as a guitar player, and I'll say this, if you're a guitar player and you're like, what is that fat bastard babbling on about? If you have an opportunity, someone who builds guitars, if you're on vacation, you don't really have anything to do, it is very interesting to watch the process. And as someone who's not an experienced guitar builder, you can actually do some stuff, put your hands on one, which is, it's fun. It'll give you a headache, but it's fun. Sanding was easy. That's something you could probably train a monkey to do, but it takes time, and it's all work with your hands, and your hands get sore. I also have sissy hands. It bit me. I don't chop frets no more. I don't know what else to really say about it. It's a really good guitar, and coming in at the price point it is, the overseas guitars that have the stuff that these have on it, if you're buying a name on a headstock, okay, do your thing. You want something that's superior in the same lane, built here in the United States, from top to bottom, where are you going to spend your money? You can get a guitar that's literally worth what you're paying for it, and you can get a guitar that, if it has to be built in Indonesia, is it worth what you're paying for it? No, someone's trying to make sure they put a shit ton of money in their pocket. And if they're cutting the cost that much, just looking up simple things like the cost of a pot. You can go on Amazon and buy pots all day long for 69 cents.
Yeah.
How far do you think those are going to take you? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what those guitars come with.
I mean, I bought 25 Dunlop Super Pots, and I think I got a really good deal on them, and they were like $15 each. So that's when you find a good deal. Normally they're 20.
Yeah.
But
And they're worth
it every penny. So, and I think I don't want to keep rambling on, but the last thing that I want to say about it with the player's guitar and the workhorse and Heathen Guitar Works being Heathen Guitars and Heathen Pickups all kind of in one is it also allows us the ability, so when you order one, pre-orders, we're going to have a couple different paint options. I still haven't completely decided on that. I got some ideas rattling around. I don't want to give everybody options paralysis, and I don't want to make my life more confusing than it is. So we're only going to have a couple of different combinations. This, of course, will be one. I really like the way this one turned out. Solid color as well, but anyway, we'll figure that out later. As far as options go, you will have the option to add the Dunlop strap locks as well as electronics. And one of the things I've learned as a builder is some of the stuff that's really important to some people is what the electronic situation is. You know, there's a lot of guys that love coil splitting, coil tapping, whatever you want to call it.
I don't know. I don't use it. No, I'm no
There's
use for
like
it.
there's a definition. These are split coils, not coil taps. But some guys like to split coils with a push-pull pot, you know, and most of us, especially in the metal community, I am definitely one. I don't want a damn tone knob. I want an on-off button, and that's called a volume. So standard options are you get the three-way toggle and a single volume, but there is plenty of room in that control cavity. If you want to add a tone, we can add a tone. If you want to play Rage Against the Machine, we can put a momentary kill switch in there. Yeah. Or we can add a CTS push-pull pot, or even two. You could have, you know, a tone and a volume. That, of course, is going to affect the price. But the biggest thing, and the one that really excites me, is you can choose any set of Heathen pickups you want. So when these things are sold, pre-orders will be open to paint. After pre-orders, I'm going to have them painted, ready to go. They'll be sitting on a shelf just waiting for assembly. Pretty much everything except the pickups in there will already be assembled, and that really allows me to kick a guitar out that's still semi-custom. So you can pick any of the Heathen pickups you want, and I'm working with somebody way smarter than me to come up with a quick connect system. So your pickups will all come with a small connector on them, so you can just unplug them. They'll be solder free. Everything in there is going to be soldered other than that one connection. But if you don't like the pickups that you chose because the description of them you thought was really good and it just doesn't fit your needs, or you watched a video on them, and if you're just not happy with them and you want to try something else, all you got to do is pop the pickups out, send them to me. I'll have another set to you in the mail. So you could try a different set of Heathen pickups, and if you don't like my pickups, I'm sorry, buy Seymour Duncan or DiMarzio or Bare Knuckle if you like paying way too much for stuff.
Yeah. And as always, I know I said, like, with a guitar, if you have a problem, you can get hold of me, hey, Royce. You don't have to go, hey, Heathen Guitar Works. You can actually say, hey, Royce, man, you know, what's up? You know, if you want to know something about the pickups, you can contact him.
Yeah.
And you don't have to buy a guitar to get the pickups. You can literally buy the pickups. And with that said, if he's busy and not getting back to you fast enough or whatever, never hesitate to reach out to me. I'll give you any information I can. If I don't have the answer, we'll have to wait on Royce. But I've tried pretty much everything. There's one I haven't even heard yet, actually.
The Searcher?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one I don't know nothing about, but
That's the EMG killer.
the EMG killer.
Everybody knows the 8185 has been the king of metal tone for far too long. And nothing against it. Fantastic pickups. I used to use them a long time ago. I switched to passives. There's no going back. Some guys really like that compression in there.
Yeah.
I wanted to come up with something that was in that wheelhouse that had that same push, that same level of output as an active pickup, but not deal with the bullshit of 9-volt batteries. So we came up with that, used a neodymium magnet. And honestly, the Gungnir that's in here is just as powerful, but a lot clearer and a lot more articulate. and dynamic. That one it's still got a really nice clarity to it. It handles distortion very well. Ryan from Rigs of Death Metal was the guy that pushed me into that one, so that's kind of his signature pickup. He is an artist like Sean.
I can't draw shit though, so it's not that kind of artist. Mean stick figure.
It's another fantastic pickup, and everything that I've done other than the Valkyrie really is for metal heads. They're all pretty high output. We just redid the Draugr based on feedback that I got from everybody. My original vision of that was I liked the Nazgul. I really liked the Lundgren M6, and playing both of them, I was like, I wish both of them would kind of have a little taste of each other, and it would be the perfect pickup. And I went to work on that. That was the first model we came out with. I was happy with it, and then I got a lot of feedback from people, and the more I played it, the more I was like, yeah, it is kind of
stabby is the word I use.
Yeah, it does need a little something more, so we changed the wind on it a little bit, increased the output, and I'm very, very happy with that one so far. So we'll see how it does. The Valkyrie's more of a rock pickup. You've got
it's a very good one.
Yeah.
Very good for rock and roll and
a fantastic 7-string pickup in my opinion, but
yep.
I don't like the djenty twanginess, I guess I would call it. It's a very mid-forward pickup.
Yeah, it definitely helps, especially with low tunes, even baritone 6-string.
Yeah.
If you're going for that really low thing, but you want to have that clarity, you want that I call it the bounce, the bang bounce.
Yeah.
It is phenomenal for that.
Yeah.
But I'm old and I like guitars to sound like guitars.
Yeah. And I think what it does to a 7-string sounds absolutely amazing. It's been my favorite in the 7-string line so far. And then we also got the Heathen Guitars, which is similar wind to the Valkyrie and the old Draugr, but it uses Alnico 8 and ceramic, so you get kind of that real chunky bottom end, but the tightness with the ceramic in there that kind of helps drive it. And then the last one is the blade style, the Fenrir, which is
I'm trying so hard not to say what I want to say.
Let's say it. I laugh every time he says it. But, that one is, if you're a fan of Seymour Duncan Black Winters, and that's for kind of the extreme death guys, I made that one exclusively for them, that crowd, and it works really well. Ceramic magnet blade style, very clear but very angry pickup.
It's not going into like be kind.
No,
it's definitely there to break something.
I designed that pickup to plug into an HM2. Well, I'll just be honest about it. So, and everybody that's bought one has loved it. So that one was a real success.
That thing is cool too. Like if you give yourself a Heathen pickup, like you said, you can send it back.
Yeah.
Send you a different one. But it's one thing to come like, fuck this thing. How about not this isn't for me and this is why. He takes a mental note of it, and if all of a sudden he starts to see a trend players are they like where it's going, but it's a little too much of this or not enough of this. But a little bit of work, you can put that together, and you get to kind of, in a way, do something really cool. You're helping make a product better. You're not going to be looked down for it. It's actually very helpful. Negative stuff doesn't produce anything good. So
just be kind.
Yeah, be
That's all
kind.
I
Don't
ask.
be a dick.
You can tell me you hate my stuff, but be kind about it, please.
Yeah.
Just tell me why you don't like it, and
Just go, you suck.
Yeah. I honestly though, I love the feedback. I love the criticism, and again, this whole thing, the Draugr rewind, all of that stuff is based on the feedback that I got, and that's one of the cool things about it. So please give me your feedback. Just tell me why you don't like it. Just saying that it sucks is going to go in one ear and out the other. I mean, I'll still take it personal, but it's not going to change anything. It's not going to improve anything. So I do ask for your help and give me your honest feedback.
Saying it sucks doesn't say why you didn't jive with it.
No.
It's your opinion of your overall assessment of where you're at. But what did you not like? How is something going to be better or be able to be worked on if you're not explaining why you don't like something? Yeah. It's so we are in quite the counterculture, aren't we?
Yeah.
I don't know. We can sit here and talk about this forever, but at the end of the day, we have shit to do.
Yep.
I gotta go to work. He's gotta get ready to go to work. We gotta eat.
Yeah, I gotta
And
go grill some chicken.
It's like 8 o'clock.
Yeah. So.
This has gone quite long-winded. Probably it is over an hour.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is a phenomenal weapon. It's good. You don't have to have blood splatter. You see, like, oh my god, he's gonna have these. You don't have to have the blood splatter.
Yeah.
If you want a cool ass guitar, you don't get blood splatter. But you don't have to have it. And this guitar will work for rock, blues, country, metal. If you want to play the violin, you probably should buy a violin.
Yeah.
All right, very cool. Royce, thank you for these 5 days. It's been very eye-opening to see how the whole process actually works.
Let's do it again sometime.
You're a crazy person. And yeah, if anybody has any questions about this, contact Royce. As always, if you're not comfortable contacting Royce, please contact me, and I'll have you contact Royce. But I'll answer any questions that I can. Some things I'm not comfortable with answering because it's not my business. But if it's about gear, I'll give you my honest opinion. And if you don't like what I have to say, then that's just, don't ask questions you don't want answers for. But I'm pretty up on top of what he's doing. So if you're not the type that wants to reach out to a builder, just message me. I'll do what I can.
Don't be afraid to reach out to me though.
Yeah, he's actually a really nice guy.
Yeah, I might not respond within 5 minutes, but I will do everything in my power to get back to you that day. So.
He's a good dude. It's not going to hurt you to have a conversation with him. That's what's awesome, is you can actually physically talk to the person who's going to build your guitar. That's where your pickups. I've enjoyed it. As someone who's been playing guitar for a very long time, it's been a lot of fun, and you don't get that from a lot of companies, really. And at some point, he's probably going to be big enough where he's not going to be able to be who he is today, as far as like being able to embrace everybody. But that's what's awesome about people working their way up, is you can start these relationships and stuff, and you're richer for it. Trust me, it's worked out amazing. I will never ever believe that Kevin Puma is how I know you. Of all the people in the world, how in the hell did that happen? Big shout out to Kevin.
Yeah.
You are the Kevin Bacon of everything. Unfucking believable.
All right, let's go make some bacon.
Yeah.
I'm hungry now.
Make bacon. You're gonna make chicken. I'm gonna microwave rice.
All right.
All right. Thank you, everybody. If you're still checking out, Heathen Guitar Works is the name of the company. Heathen, GW, correct?
Yep.
Is .com. We'll take you to the website.
Or heathenpickups.com or heathenguitars.com. I own all 3 domains, and they all link to the same place.
Heathenfleshlight.com.
That's later on the list.
And
It's
also,
a wood version with blood splatter on it. It's fun.
yeah, it's not sanded. Just putting that out there. I'm not testing that one. But yes, you can also follow him on Instagram.
Yep.
He's not hyperactive, but he does post cool stuff, and he's got pretty sick memes, and he supports a lot of people.
I like funny stuff. Send me funny stuff.
Yeah, and he shares a lot of stuff. Like, it's just people, he's digging what they're doing. It's not necessarily they're helping his business or anything. He just digs what they're doing. Other builders, other businesses, people that just play random guitar in their bedroom. He'll be like, oh, that was really cool. So it's not all about him. That's another thing that's really awesome, is he doesn't think he's a people person, but he really is.
We're all in this fucked up world together, so
yeah,
we should all be doing cool shit and sharing our cool shit with everybody.
Yeah. Well, anyway,
you
know how to find him now. You owe me $50. We'll talk to you later.